Today in cannabis news, campaigners in Florida shift their attention from pushing for statewide cannabis legalization this year to 2024. Florida lawmakers seek to implement practical updates to the state's medical cannabis system, and the Republican governor of Texas, despite misspeaking about the state's current cannabis statutes, expresses support for statewide cannabis decriminalization. It's Wednesday, January 12th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California, it's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, cannabis advocates in Florida have decided to aim for placing recreational cannabis legislation on the state's ballot in 2024 instead of this year, as had been intended originally. As they tried to certify the legislative proposal for the 2022 ballot, Regulate Florida ran into a number of serious roadblocks. The state Supreme Court, for example, rejected the text of a previous iteration, requiring the campaigners to rework the measures. Even when the organization submitted an amended iteration last year and worked hard to gather the needed signatures, the campaign was unsuccessful. The new effort will begin on February 2nd, according to Regulate Florida. Organizers will have 2 years to collect nearly 223,000 petition signatures to trigger a judiciary and economic effects study, followed by over 891,000 signatures to qualify for the state ballot. The proposal, as submitted this year, would permit adults aged 21 years or older to consume and carry cannabis. It would also allow for the private growing of a maximum of 9 plants, but retail sales would be excluded from the program. Next up, the 2022 legislative session in Florida began this week, and state legislators are aiming to enact a bipartisan medical cannabis proposal this year. Florida does not allow adult use cannabis, and those who wish to participate in its medical cannabis system must have an eligible medical condition and be able to acquire cannabis prescriptions. House Bill 679 would make various practical changes to the state's medical cannabis system. The proposal would save patients money by eliminating redundant doctor's appointments, allowing patients to maintain their medical cannabis registry for 2 years rather than 1, and allowing them to replenish their medications via telehealth. It's about access. It's about making things more affordable for people. I think one of the problems that we've had is that some people just can't afford the doctor's appointments and the frequency, said Dr. David Berger, board-certified pediatrician at Holistic Pediatrics and Family Care. Ultimately, it's reducing the cost on the patient by about 60% or more, said Representative Andrew Learned. Last up, at the same time that authorities in Austin authorized a ballot measure to implement the policy update throughout the city, Texas Governor Greg Abbott stated he doesn't feel that individuals should be jailed for minor cannabis possession, thus embracing statewide cannabis decriminalization. However, he went on to say that the provisions had already been implemented in the state, which was wrong. When asked about wider cannabis legalization during a political news conference, Governor Abbott said Texas is making steps in that regard to reduce cannabis punishments, albeit he misspoke about the present state statutes. Marijuana is now a Class C misdemeanor in the state of Texas, and so one thing that I believe in, and I believe the state legislature believes in, and that is prison and jail is a place for dangerous criminals who may harm others. And small possession of marijuana is not the type of violation that we want to stockpile jails with. Proponents immediately noted that Abbott misrepresented Texas's cannabis statutes, clarifying that carrying up to 2 ounces of cannabis is still a Class B misdemeanor rather than Class C, with a possible punishment of 180 days of jail time and a $2,000 ticket. A Class C misdemeanor would be penalized with a maximum fine of $500 with no possibility of incarceration, a proposition known as decriminalization by proponents. That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit Trichomes.com. And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech and Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation, wherever you get your podcasts. For Trichomes.com, I'm RJ Balde, signing off.